Mandela Effect. What do you remember? What do you think is going on? The changes. It even seems that things are changing back and forth. Older things are turning back. What do you remember?
Well, let's talk for a minute. Mandela Effect. It's really getting quite large, and there's so many things happening. In my opinion, this is very likely part of the great deception that was foretold in the Bible that was to come. I think it's very possible that it's part of the great deception. And I also believe, well, I don't want it to happen, but I believe that it's going to increase this effect, and maybe there'll be other deceptions, but this effect will increase and become more and more pronounced. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I've had a lot of experiences in the world. I've been to many countries in the world. I've traveled to, I go somewhere around 40 countries. I've done a lot of archaeology. And in my travels, I've seen things that have told me that things are not exactly the way that we're taught in the history books. So I think that's also part of the wool that's been pulled over our eyes. So let's talk more about the Mandela Effect and what's going on. I wanted to explain that I believe very strongly that it cannot be changed what's in your mind. So what's actually in your mind, what you remember, cannot be changed. This I believe. Also, if you create something, like you paint something from memory, then this is why we're finding so many of these residues of the past timeline or the other timeline. Who knows exactly what's going on? Maybe we are actually in some sort of large simulation, very detailed simulation. I kind of feel that may be true, actually. And there's even words to that in the Bible. There's so many other things that we should talk about, but I wanted to mention a few, and I've showed some images here about the Mandela Effect. So the new Mandela Effect that we have just uncovered is a show called Hill Street Blues. It's an older show. I used to watch it in reruns because it's actually older than I'm not that old. But interesting, a ring appeared out of nowhere. Captain Furillo never had this ring on his hand. He was a manly sort of man. If you watch the show, it's kind of entertaining. You might want to watch it. But he never had this ring on his hand, and now suddenly it's there. Also, the Panama Canal. Now, we know that there's been changes to the map, but a very big Mandela effect for me is this Panama Canal, because I remember I'm a skipper. I actually have owned boats, and I've done some sailing, and I used to look at the map quite a lot and also figure out how I would navigate from one ocean to the other and maybe go from one point to another, just kind of for fun. And I always remember the Panama Canal running from west to east or east to west. You had to go through it like that. And now it runs pretty much north-south, which is, well, crazy. It actually runs a little bit northwest and southeast. It's a very strange situation. So, of course, the map has been moved.